While India continues to prepare itself and it has vowed revenge, the forces are out there. They're going all out against the terrorists. The former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister and PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti continues to sympathize with the terrorists. Now, yesterday, Mehbooba Mufti claimed that government and the forces are unnecessarily targeting the youth in Kashmir. Today, she wrote to Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and said that security agencies' response to Pahalgam terror attack appeared to be a sweeping and indiscriminate crackdown, pointing to hundreds being detained or booked under stringent laws. Listen in to what exactly Mehbooba Mufti had to say.
कल जो कश्मीरियों ने इस बार पूरा दहशतगर्दी के खिलाफ एक कदम उठाया और मुल्क के साथ जुड़े हैं, आप भी खुदा के लिए इसको एक मौका समझ के इसका फायदा उठाइए। अगर वो एक कदम बढ़ते हैं, आप दो कदम बढ़ाइए। ये पकड़ दकड़, ये लाशें दरिया से एनकाउंटर के नाम पे लाशें कश्मीरियों को देना बंद कर दीजिए। और मेरी ये भी डिमांड है लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब से, जो बांडीपोरा में हादसा हुआ, बहुत गरीब है, उनके घर में खाने के लाले, बेचारा मिलिटेंट नहीं था। आप किसी को भी OGW का नाम देके उसको कत्ल करोगे क्या? कल जो आपने इम्तियाज को उधर मार दिया, वो भी बहुत गरीब है। जब तक आप उसकी इंक्वायरी करेगी, कम से कम इन फैमिलीज को कंपनसेशन मिलना चाहिए। ये सब कश्मीरी, ये दहशतगर्द नहीं है, ये मिलिटेंट नहीं है, ये आपके साथ चलना चाहते हैं, शाना बशाना चलना चाहते हैं। अब हादसा वो इनके हाथ में तो नहीं था बेचारों के, ये क्या कर सकते थे?
All right, my colleague Zinet is joining us live on the broadcast. For more, Zinet, tell us more about this sympathetic stand once again that Mehbooba Mufti has taken towards the terrorists.
She has some rant against the security forces. Time and again we have been seeing the Miss Mufti making all such allegations, and she's pointing fingers towards the security forces. And today she has written a letter to LG of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha. She has rather said that this is a complete crackdown on the people and those people who have been fighting for those tourists who lost their life, or for those who were the part of the evacuation process. In fact, she said around 3,000 people have been detained and around 100 people have been slapped with PSA. She has urged for LG's intervention to stop all these raids and the arrests, and because Amarnath Yatra is also approaching, so these were the people who will be acting as a service providers to those yatris. She has questioned the kind of the crackdown that the J&K police along with other intelligence agencies has been carried. It is more like seeing that she has mentioned that it is a sweeping crackdown on the Kashmiris, those Kashmiris who laid their lives for the people, for saving them, for evacuating them from the Baisaran, and now they are only facing the action. Miss Mufti also quoted the two of the incidents while talking to press yesterday. One was about the Bandipora, in which the Altaf Lahiri was neutralized in an anti-terror operation, and another was of the Imtiaz from Kulgam, who committed suicide because he was leading the joint forces to a hideout. When he lost his life, he jumped into a Vesho Nala, a river stream in South Kashmir's Kulgam, and JKP has termed it as an act of suicide, for which Miss Mufti has not been convinced. In fact, not only Miss Mufti, but we are seeing the MLA from Kulgam, Sakina Yuttu, also has called for a judicial probe in this incident. Apart from Miss Yuttu, there is MP Aga Ruhullah, who has also questioned the kind of statements that have come on the Kulgam killing.
Zina, thank you so much for joining us with those details on this story, viewers. Now, remember, viewers, Pakistan continues to say that it wants intervention of the US. It has also sought intervention of the United Nations. But guess what? At the UNSC, it was hauled over the coals. It had to face global shame as it was facing some multiple tough questions. Pakistan has been asked at the UNSC that it should come clear on the involvement of Lashkar as far as the Pahalgam terror attack is concerned. And there's much more that happened in this closed meeting at the United Nations Security Council. Take a look at this report to know all the details.
as India prepares for an imminent military response to the Pahalgam terror attack. Pakistan was left to rue its latest bid to raise the Kashmir issue at the United Nations. Pakistan was literally ripped to shreds at a closed meeting of the UNSC. As confirmed by the Pakistan Foreign Office in a social media post, the closed meeting was convened at its behest to discuss the deteriorating regional security due to India's alleged provocative actions. Pakistan was cornered and shamed at the UNSC as the world body posed some straight and sharp questions over the Pahalgam attack. Top sources told Republic that the UNSC members grilled Pakistan on the involvement of Lashkar in Pahalgam and demanded accountability for the attack. Condemning the Pahalgam attack in the strongest terms, the UNSC also grilled Pakistan on picking the victims on the basis of religion. The world body also listed out Pakistan's threat of a nuclear war with India and missile tests as a factor contributing to rising tensions on the international border. As Pakistan finds itself isolated and completely cornered at the UN, it is only a matter of time before every drop of blood in Pahalgam is avenged.
Now, there is heightened security across Jammu and Kashmir, and the forces are all prepared. Now, at the Jammu-Srinagar highway, the Jammu and Kashmir police have now deployed a mobile fortress. This is a mobile command vehicle, a high-tech command vehicle that is being used by the Jammu and Kashmir police. Here's my colleague Zeenat's report.
Rolling through the tense Kazigan stretch, the Jammu and Kashmir Police's command vehicle stands out not just in size but in purpose. Positioned strategically on the Jammu-Srinagar highway, this high-mobility armoured unit is built to withstand both bullets and blasts. What makes it lethal is its multiple firing ports and a roof hatch that ensure rapid engagement if needed, without exposing personnel to direct fire. From the inside, the vehicle is a tactical nerve center fitted with night vision systems, GPS tracking, and secure communication channels for real-time coordination.
Showing you the visuals from this very vehicle that plays a critical role in the high-risk operations across the Kashmir Valley. This vehicle is built to withstand bullets and grenade attacks, keeping our frontier personnel safe during the counter-terror ops and raids in volatile Kashmir Valley. Equipped with firing ports, a top hatch for armed retaliation, and advanced surveillance tools like night vision and GPS tracking. This is more than just transport. It's a mobile command post. Right now it's on the patrol duty in a sensitive locations like Srinagar Jammu National Highway, and this is a Kazigund, which is a critical juncture, ready to respond within minutes to any potential threat. As there is an escalation of tensions between India and Pakistan, we see these vehicles on the standby mode, and in fact the visuals that we beam also tells you how the surveillance is being done while being inside the vehicle. This is one of the such visuals where you see the monitoring is being done, the kind of equipments that it has, from fixed bullet cameras, PTZ cameras, to pneumatic mast, and similarly a thorough walled radar, the remotely piloted vehicle. All this is inside this vehicle. This is more like a bulletproof vehicle, which is this fortress is on the wheels, that tells you that how the operations are done and also how you carry the patrol duties.
From surveillance to rapid response, this command vehicle is more than transport. It's a mobile fortress built for the battlefield. On roads shadowed by uncertainty, this is how the Jammu and Kashmir Police are reinforcing control mile by mile, mission by mission.
Now, viewers, we've seen how Pakistan has been facing internal conflict within itself, that it is on the verge of breaking into four. We've seen the fault lines between Balochistan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and also, of course, other areas like Sindh and Punjab. And retired IAF veteran Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastav has said that it could be very much possible that Pakistan, as it is already burdened with the economic crisis and military overreach, could be breaking into pieces very, very soon. Listen in to Air Vice Marshal Srivastav.
First thing I would like to point out here, it's a great discussion to be on our digital platform and have time to talk about it, is that no incident, whether it's a terrorist attack or any kind, in this integrated world, which is so much full of social media, information, and intelligentized kind of information available to more or less whole of the citizens, is isolated. So it's not an isolated incident in my analysis. So let's see what all has happened in the past. The Trump administration came into being, and Trump imposed tariffs in a big way on China. Chinese president wrote to our president that it's time for elephant and dragon to dance together. So there was a little positive indication that let's forget about what is the past, whether it's Galwan or otherwise, and let's work together. On Pakistan side, you see the General Munir, whom I think is not an agent of Pakistani military only, he's an agent of China and also an agent of Western powers, because he gets all his powers, all his weapons, all his resources from there. He drops a soft bomb and talks about Hindu-Muslim and a divide. Now connect this with, on our side, we have this Waqf bill into motion and lot of opposition to that Waqf bill. If we put all that dots together, you get one picture clear that it is not something which has happened in isolation. If it has not happened in isolation, so what are we trying to compare and contrast? There is a security architecture in Pakistan, which is the power structure of the Pakistan, and let me tell you, Pranav, this is only limited to Pakistani military, because they are the only beneficiaries. As far as the people are concerned, they are reeling under the pressure of inflation, they are reeling under the pressure of debt. The Pakistani rupee has fallen down to its worst value today with respect to dollars. The normal common things which are available to people over there are very costly, and there are inflationary pressures. There is an alienation which was already there all the time from Punjabis ruling over the rest of the Pakistan. There is a BLA factor, and in recent past, a Pakistani military train was hijacked by the BLA fighters, which does not happen in a country where power structure is all stable. Sindh is suffering. The water which should go to them in normal times, I'm not talking about a suspension which has happened after the Pahalgam attack, was being denied because the generals in Punjab are routing it to their farmlands. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they are very happy that Talibani government has come there. They are fighting with them for the Durand line. So none of the parts, the four parts of Pakistan are really stable. That is the security architecture as of there, which only is of the military there. As far as our country is concerned, our security architecture, they thought if they drop a Hindu-Muslim bomb, we'll get into tatters. We remain unified. All parties have supported the government on its response. And we have multi-layered security architecture in our country, and everybody has its own place and its own role. So it's a conflict between one security architecture with another one. Despite we being democracy, democracy has its own, I would say, weaknesses or the fault lines, which enemy tries, or adversary tries to exploit. In our case, he tried to exploit the HM thing. He said, Hindu-Muslim, if I do that, it'll seed a kind of conflict on streets for Bharat. It didn't happen. He must be dismayed, therefore he went into hiding after that, because it didn't come out the way he would have thought of. So if we put all that together, we find it's a fight between two nations, one democratic, multi-ethnic, multilingual, and multi-aspirants. There's nobody, you can choose your own government, and you have seen changes of government from one party to another in the past. So can a dictatorial regime which is only concentrated in few hands fight really the regime which is democratic, which is vast, which is economically stable, which is rising? No. The answer is no. That is also known to the adversary. But what can they do? they can do the poke strategy. They can poke us and make us believe that we are weak at this time. They can act as agents of China, and you relate it with the dragon and elephant dance, then you find that China is now looking for, after the tariffs, a market which is available to him, 140 crore Indians, out of which nearly 800 are middle-class Indians. So if this market is available to them, any other market actually in the world is not required for their goods. We have blocked that, and we have blocked that really correctly. Because that is not the way we are going to stop our Atmanirbharta campaign, which has been launched by the Prime Minister. But when you take the whole global picture in mind, now you asked a very, very potent question. What are the elements of national power? So the first element, I would say, and the most important element is soft power. How are connected with various parts of the world, and that's geo-diplomatic power of this country. Which if you see, since time this government came into being, let me name our Prime Minister, he has been making efforts to look east, and he has been traveling all the while to Muslim countries, to West, to European countries, to Russian. We were able to maintain a kind of balance, a stability during Ukraine and Russian war for such a prolonged war. That means our geo-diplomatic initiative will pay the dividends. It's a very strong power.
So while our veterans continue to talk about India's response, our forces are on ground zero. But the politics here continues to boil. The Congress chief in the latest, the Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge, he says that the Prime Minister's visit just before, 3 days before the Pahalgam terror attack was cancelled because there was an intel that was received about a security threat. He says that there was no information given to the security agencies when the PMO had the information about the threat. Now, meanwhile, we have the government saying that the local authorities did not inform the security agencies there and opened the Pahalgam, the Baisaran area, which is mostly closed until the Amarnath Yatra. Here's more on that.
ये भी इंफॉर्मेशन मिला और कहीं पेपर में भी आए हैं, लिखे हैं कि 3 दिन पहले ही, हमले के 3 दिन पहले ही वहां इंटेलिजेंस रिपोर्ट मोदी जी को भेजा था और उसी लिए मोदी जी ने कश्मीर जाने का प्रोग्राम कैंसल किया था. ये मैं एक पेपर में पढ़ा.
Viewers, it's been 14 days since the brutal attack on innocent Indians at Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir, viewers. Now, India has vowed revenge and it is waiting for the right time, the right place and, of course, the right way to strike back. But what are the options on the table? Here's a report that explains what could be India's response, how it could be carried out. Take a look.
Amid rising tension between India and Pakistan post the Pahalgam terror attack, Pakistan has entered a visible state of anxiety and nervousness. The spike in ceasefire violations, sudden military movement, and increasingly jittery public statements suggest a leadership preparing for consequences. In contrast, India's posture has been restrained. There's no immediate retaliation, no show of force, just silence. But that silence this time feels strategic. Not if, but when. A review of key Pakistani cities shows how vulnerable the country really is when faced with precision strike capabilities like BrahMos, Rudram 2 and imported standoff weapons like Scalp and Rocks. These systems allow India to target military and economic assets from hundreds of kilometers away without crossing international borders. Start with Peshawar. Barely 130 kilometers from the line of control, it is no border town. It's the brain of Pakistan's 11 Corps, a theatre command responsible for Western operations and, more crucially, long known to provide logistical sanctuary to extremist elements operating along the Afghan frontier. A missile like the BrahMos, launched from platforms in Jammu or Leh, can strike with such precision and velocity that Peshawar's airbase or Corps headquarters would be reduced to silence before an alarm could even be raised. It's widely understood that Pakistan's modern air defense platforms are disproportionately concentrated in Punjab. Cities like Peshawar, while militarily important, sit outside that protective arc. In a war scenario, trash decisions will be made, and Peshawar will likely be deemed expendable. Move southwest to Sialkot, practically on the border with India. It hosts the 15th Infantry Division, critical to Pakistan's line of control posture and a key supply node for both war and trade. And yet, its proximity makes it impossible to defend effectively. A precision strike using the ROKS air-to-surface missile deployed from Indian jets flying well within our airspace could demolish key cantonment infrastructure or ammunition stockpiles without giving Pakistan a window to react. In military calculations, Sialkot's fate would be sealed in the opening hour of conflict. What follows would be an information blackout and operational paralysis in a frontline district. Sargodha, deeper in central Punjab, poses a different kind of threat and opportunity. It houses one of Pakistan's main Air Force bases with runway facilities and shelters suspected to host part of the country's nuclear delivery platforms. The Rudram 2, with its anti-radiation capabilities, was built for exactly this scenario, to blind the radar grids, cripple communication networks, and make flying impossible before a single dogfight begins. It's likely that defenses around Sargodha exist, but military resources, even the best ones, must be rationed. And with Rawalpindi, Lahore, and Islamabad competing for the same defensive umbrella, choices will be made. Strategic depth won't guarantee safety when the adversary's precision is surgical. And now let's shift the lens far south to Hyderabad in Sindh. Here lies the blind spot in Pakistan's military doctrine. A city integral to Pakistan's industrial base and supporting the Karachi command chain, it has long operated under the assumption of strategic irrelevance, too far from India, too low on the target list. That's no longer the case. The BrahMos A, launched from Indian Sukhoi 30 MKIs in Gujarat, can reach Hyderabad in under 5 minutes. With negligible anti-air defense system and no significant fighter presence, Hyderabad is defenseless against a decapitation strike. This isn't just military vulnerability. It's a strategic vacuum created by decades-long concentration of defense investment elsewhere. And then comes Karachi, the jewel and the jugular. A sprawling megacity, it is the backbone of Pakistan's economy and the nerve center of its naval operations. A conventional strike by an Agni-2 ballistic missile, equipped with a non-nuclear payload but enough raw power to devastate shipyards or command installations, could rip through Karachi's military infrastructure and financial nerve centers in one blow. Pakistan's defenses in Karachi, though more robust than elsewhere, are scattered and thinly stretched. And the question that haunts every command room is simple. If war breaks out across multiple theaters, who gets priority? The answer isn't always Karachi. Put together, the pattern is clear. Pakistan's defenses are built to shield Punjab. Cities in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Sindh, despite their economic and military value, are left with minimal protection. India, on the other hand, had spent years acquiring the capability to strike deep and fast. If a larger response is ordered, it won't just be across the line of control. It will be calibrated, long range and designed to hurt where it matters most. What happens next depends on what Pakistan does next, but the strategic picture is already tilted. For now, India waits, Pakistan watches, and its cities lie exposed.